Hi guys, it's your boy JD back at again with my bullshit. I know it's been a while since I uploaded, and that's because I honestly have been packing and I'm kind of just really tired. Because right now we're packing up all our stuff to get ready to leave again, and I'm kind of been stressed out for reasons that I don't want to get into. So in other words, we're gonna read this wonderful merthur fan fiction because I decided, you know what? I should read another one of these because they're fucking good. I've been watching compilations of like Merlin and Arthur just being idiots with each other for like a whole long time. I've been watching edits, I've been literally living my best life, and I'm so happy and I want to contribute to this fandom by giving a little, you know? So, today we'll be reading Half Sleeping, Numb with Frost. Also, I hope you all noticed that I picked the fanfic before we started this video, so look at me being responsible. Pat pat. So anyway, if all of you are ready, dang, it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Damn, I need to actually get in that terminal clock because I don't know what time it is, like ever. So let's, for one, read this. Half Sleeping, Numb with Frost by Sweetheart. Summary. Stay here with me tonight, Arthur said softly. And although it was framed as an order, Merlin could hear the entreaty in his voice. Entreaty, damn slow. Entreaty in his voice. I want you to stay where I can see you. Mm. Merlin said without opening his eyes. I could be persuaded. After a close call with a vengeful sorceress, Merlin and Arthur could find comfort in each other through touch. Written for merthur Touch Fest 2019. Let's get started. By the way, it's 2,000 words, so you know it's gonna be a long one. So if you're not ready to sit through me reading a long ass fanfiction, I really suggest you go. Anyone who stayed, hi, what's Gucci, fam? Let's get started. Sorry, my head itches. I'm just really itchy lately. Okay. The grate was closed when they got in, and Merlin immediately went to light it, fumbling with the flint a handful of times before I muttered, Barney. So, yeah, I'm not gonna. You understand that I'm not gonna get these. Understand these magic words? Not gonna happen, sweetie. Set the wood ablaze. He held his hands out over the heat, aware that he was shaking, and heard Arthur stripping off his gloves behind him. Merlin. I'm fine, Merlin replied, reflectively. He closed his eyes for a moment, seeing only the red and orange haze, then opened them and leveled himself to his feet. I'll go and fetch some wine, shall I? He said, and I can have George draw you a bath if you'd like. Merlin, Arthur said again. He caught at Merlin's wrist when he passed, forcing him to turn. You are not fine. Sit down. Ooh, we love a boyfriend that is literally willing to do this shit. We love the non-abuse, but we love the strong forcefulness saying, "Bitch, I know you too well. Heffa, don't try me. You're not slick. I know some shit's up. What is wrong?" We obviously know what's wrong, but like, I love this. I love protective Arthur of his waifu, and we stan it. And I shouldn't call Merlin his waifu. Oh God. So let's continue. Wow, my cat hand. He pushed Merlin into an armchair. Merlin sat without quite intending to, his unsteady legs giving way beneath him, and oh, but God, I'm actually dyslexic. Arthur's cold fingers brushed the nape of his neck, and as he passed, a a stinging gesture, and a moment later, Merlin heard him ordering some food and wine to be sent up, keeping his voice low as if Merlin was sleeping. Merlin wanted to tell him to stop being so ridiculous, but he couldn't seem to force the words out. And maybe he did doze just a little, because when he opened his eyes, the food was there, and Arthur was shaking his shoulder gently. Eat, the prince commanded, forcing a cup of something warm and aromatic into his hands. And drink this. Guy said it'll help. Merlin accepted the gauntlet and took a sip. It was bitter and oddly dry, tasting of wood bark and dead leaves. I hate that I know what dead leaves taste like. God. But he recognized it as one of Guy's potions. Gaius was here? Arthur Arthur nodded. He said to let you rest, he said. That you should be all right by morning. Merlin attempted to smile. See, I told you I was fine. Emotion flashed behind Arthur's blue eyes, too quickly to make out. Ah! 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 I see you! Oh, my mother... Mm-hmm. You'll be fine when I say you're fine, he growled. Drink the damn potion. Yes, sire. Merlin rolled his eyes, but drank a little more. With each sip, he felt his head clearing, as if low-hanging fog were burning away. He flexed his fingers and toes, relishing the diminishing stiffness, and found his appetite gradually returning along with the heat in his blood, as if it, too, had been frozen by the witch's curse. What does witch do? Because I feel like this bitch trying to kill... okay, for one, why would you try to kill Merlin? Merlin is literally the reason that magic shall be returned to the fucking kingdom. If you kill Merlin, Arthur's never gonna let any shit in this fucking kingdom, and it'll be your fault. And I feel like that honestly is the tea. Because, think about this for a minute. Merlin is, the kingdom's one shot at getting magic into the fucking kingdom in general. Think about it. If y'all fuck with Merlin, y'all could just do without magic entirely. But if you do as Merlin tells, guess what? Young niggas get magic back. Because literally, all Merlin has to do is just get close to Arthur, and then when they're close, and Merlin, if, I'm saying this is a hypothetical ending for, Merlin, if they just, okay, here's my ending at least. If you ain't ready for it, skip to this time mark right here, bitch. But, think about it. If, technically speaking, Merlin did save Arthur, Arthur was willing to let Merlin save him after finding out he was a warlock. For one, I think Gwen would still be let's be real. Medieval times, girl. Yeah, let's keep it straight. They was gonna have to still be together because Arthur still needs children, and well, we don't know what that Dragon Lord could do. Let's not talk about that. They probably run away together. I'm being real. If I'm saying my personal ending is literally Merlin and Arthur running away together to run a farm with literally anyone who passes by. Literally just adopt children as they pass. Oh my god, I need to write this fan fiction. Oh my god, don't steal this idea. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, let me just edit that out. Okay, let me just edit this out. Editing Jade, you know what to do. Arthur didn't eat, but sat curled in the chair opposite with his eyes fixed on Merlin, his chin resting on his knees. It was strange to see him so watchful like this, the lines of strain making his face. Merlin got the impression that he was waiting for something, for Merlin to keel over, perhaps, burst into tears. It was unnerving. Damn. Calm, motherfucker. Okay, what happened? Merlin asked, feeling the need to break the silence. I remember tackling her when she tried to cast her spell, but nothing after that. You turned to ice. Okay. Okay, now we know why Arthur's worried. You were literally an icicle. You're an ice pop. You were a frozen dildo. Okay, you were he was he was a magic frozen phallus. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Word of the day, kids. A phallus is a dick-shaped object. Phallus, a dick-shaped object. Okay. 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 You turned to ice. Arthur's voice was flat. The spell hit you dead on, and it was like you were frozen stiff. There were icicles in your hair. Your skin was blue, and you're lucky she wasn't trying to kill me, or you'd be dead right now. I think she was trying to kill you, actually, Marlon said mildly. She just wasn't very good at it. I mean, no one in Merlin was actually good at killing Arthur. Because Arthur's bitch ass kept, trusting people that he shouldn't have been trusting. And then, Merlin's bitch ass got the fucking mop and was like, gotta clean up after this dumb bitch again. Fucking Christ. Literally, Arthur's a 5-year-old who, keeps, knocking over a whole a whole jar of jelly. And then, Merlin's just with the mop, fucking Christ, if he keeps on, I swear to God, I'm gonna leave. And then Merlin never fucking leaves. Okay. I'm sorry. Am I the only one who's a sucker for like Merlin trying to leave and then Arthur being like, you can't leave. You're not allowed to leave. And I'm just like, "Ah!" Just me. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. That doesn't make it any better. That okay, hold a second. That doesn't make it any better, Arthur snarled, his knuckles growing abruptly white on the arm of his chair. For God's sake, Merlin, what were you thinking? I was thinking, Merlin snapped right back, that between the two of us, I should be the one dealing with the witch, not you. And that's the tea. I mean, I get that Arthur wants to protect Merlin. I get that shit. Like, y'all are some ooh bullshit. Like, y'all cute and y'all want to be with each other and shit. I get it. But also, which one of y'all has fucking magic and can deal with said magic? Not Arthur? Just Merlin? Shook. Like, Arthur, your bitch ass needs to sit the fuck down somewhere because really, Merlin's the one who's supposed to be dealing with it. Merlin is the only one who should be dealing with the witches and the goblins and the gookums and the spookums. Every mythical bullshit is not your business, bitch. Sit your ass down. Please and thank you. Good night. Because honestly, in my opinion, Arthur, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, Arthur, your ass damn well knows that Merlin knows more about this shit than you do. So why are you, like, fucking trying to do some shit that you ain't know what you're doing? Like, you better get yourself killed, then you get Merlin killed because he's worried about your bitch ass. And I'm just saying, you're like, what the fuck is going on? God motherfucking damn it. I'm sorry. I'm actually, like, awake and stuff, and that never is good for me making videos. Like, the more tired and delirious I am, the better. Okay. Arthur's mouth shut with a click, and he looked stricken. Beneath Merlin's exhaustion, he registered how unusual it was to see the prince with all his defenses down. It made things worse somehow. Arthur was meant to be brash and insensitive and oh god, I broke this. And occasionally annoying. As troubled by deeper feelings and emotions, he was by the fuck? Practicalities of everyday existence. He was not meant to look at Merlin as though he'd been kicked in the gut by one of his horses. I mean, Merlin's not wrong, and Merlin has no reason to apologize in this situation because he's not wrong. Okay? Like, he's not wrong. I don't know why you're apologizing, Merlin, because I wouldn't be apologizing. I'd be like, bitch, it's true, though. Like, you don't have any experience whatsoever, and you have no right. You could get yourself killed, and I'm not willing to willing to lose you. And then the oh my god, I need to write fan fiction now. God damn it. No, actually, that could be a live stream, just me writing fan fiction. I should do that. Fucking genius. Ugh. I'm sorry, Rowan said, rubbing at the bridge of his nose. He wished he could remember more about what had happened, but it was like trying to trace the outline of a fish beneath a frozen pond. He had a vague impression of a shape and movement, but nothing more. Just, you can't expect me to stand by and watch you when you're in danger. In danger. I won't do it. And how do you think I felt? Oh, and I, and I, I'm sorry. Arthur said, grinding the words beneath his teeth. When she turned into an ice sculpture, at least if the spell had hit me, you'd be able to fix it. You'd have been able to fix it. Okay. And now he got you there, Merlin. Goddamn. Shit. She got you. I ain't gonna lie. Merlin, she got you. Like, let's be real. Merlin, he has a point. But also, Merlin has a point in the sense that, Arthur, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Don't get yourself killed. Like, all I'm saying is, like, Arthur, really, dude, I don't understand why the fuck you think you can handle it. Like, I don't. It was a valid point, but not one which Merlin was inclined to acknowledge just at the moment. He took another sip from his gauntlet instead. Ugh, he was still very weak and shivery inside, as though the chill had penetrated deep into the inner workings of his body, and ever so often a shudder racked him as the cramps worked their way out of the muscles. Sorry. Mm. Okay, I'm sorry, I lost my place. He wasn't sure how long he had been frozen. It could have been more than a couple of hours, yet it had left him with a profound sense of distance, as if for the brief period for the rest of the world had ceased to exist. At least there was a fire handy, he said, remembering a vague snatch of the aftermath. Arthur had dragged him so close to the flames it was a wonder that he hadn't set himself alight, trying to frantically to coax the life back into Merlin's frozen limbs. It's not as if there's any permanent harm done. Oh, well, in that case, Arthur threw up his hands. She well, fucking whoop-de-fucking do. At least there wasn't any permanent damage. Not like I wasn't worried about your bitch ass. Sorry. As long as she didn't do any harm, that's fine. Excuse me for thinking that you turning into a statue is cause for alarm. Bitch. She ain't wrong, Merlin. You kinda in the wrong, bitch. Ooh. Merlin, you look dumb right now. Oh, shit. The sarcasm was a front, of course. Merlin could still see the echo of that earlier panic in Arthur's eyes. He reached out to touch the prince's arm, but Arthur twitched away from him and stood up, pacing away from the fire and into the dark corners of the room. He ran a hand through his hair, staring out the window for a moment before turning. Sometimes I don't understand you, he said, his voice low. The number of times you've almost gotten killed or caught, and you still think swaying around Camelot is a good idea. They had this discussion before, or something like it, on the night Merlin had first revealed his secret. Words had been exchanged, harsh and uncompromising. Merlin was risking his life every day he stayed in Camelot, and Arthur wouldn't have it. He would have to leave. Merlin had explained in equal blunt terms exactly why he would do not such a thing. Thank you all the same. And they hadn't spoken to one another for a week while Arthur adjusted to the idea. He'd come around eventually, forbidding Merlin from ever getting caught before pushing him up against a wall and giving him a hickey. Ooh, saucy. Bitch, she's saucy. Ooh. Ooh. Giving him a hickey that lasted for days. But Merlin knew that his awareness of the threat was ever present. He knew because sometimes he felt the same way. I can't just leave, he said, because he couldn't. The entire reason for his very existence was standing right in front of him. You know that. Arthur made a noise like a disgruntled cat, but didn't disagree. He didn't want Merlin to leave any more than Merlin wanted to go, and Merlin shuddered involuntarily thinking of what his life would be like without Arthur in it. Fewer encounters with angry sorceresses would be nice, as would be the ability to do magic without the threat of execution hanging over his head, but neither of those things would mean much without Arthur. When he looked up, Arthur was watching. What? You're still cold, the prince said, pointing out the obvious. You're practically in the fire, but you're shivering. Do not say fine, Arthur said, jabbing a finger at him, and Arthur closed his mouth. Come here. Arthur eyed him suspiciously. There were only a handful of things that Arthur meant when he spoke like that, none of which Merlin was entirely sure he felt up to just at the moment, but Arthur merely stared at him, expectant and imperious, and so Merlin went, well, turn around. Ooh. And ooh. Turn around. Merlin turned, and for a second later, Arthur's arm slid across his waist from behind, enveloping him so that he was caught between two pillars of heat, the fire at his front and Arthur solid and alive at his back. He tensed for a moment, inhaling sharply as the muffled aching feeling that had plagued him since the curse wore off, dissolved into painful clamor and renewed sensation, like all of his nerve endings were coming awake at once. Oh, he cleared his throat. I didn't realize you even knew what a hug was. Bitch, neither did any of the fandom. Because you got, okay, I think we all know that Arthur has only ever hugged Merlin once. And I'm still kind of like, I'm trying to still think. I mean, that was a turning point, let's be real. That hug was like saying, bitch, I love you more than I love anyone in this world. Oh, girl, I'm tired. I got theories. I'll tell you about it later. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me just shut up. Let me shut the fuck up. Let me shut the fuck up. I'm not entirely devoid of social skills, Merlin. And that's what you call this then, is it? In spite of himself, Merlin was amused. Politeness? Without answering, Arthur turned his head and pressed a kiss to Merlin's throat for his left ear, and then followed the tendon down before his jaw, nuzzling at the wet trail he left as he went. Merlin made an inarticulate sound, part laugh and part moan, and Arthur pressed even closer. This is not smut. I promise you, I read them tags. There's no smut, so don't even get your hopes up, bitch. And Arthur pressed even closer, still molding his body around Merlin's as though he could form a living barrier between them and the rest of the world. The kissing wasn't new, nor was the way that Arthur slid his fingers down the jut of Merlin's hips, casually possessive in a way that made him shiver, but hugging was not something they indulged in often, or indeed ever, as far as Merlin could recall. Arthur was a ow, 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 I bit my tongue. Ow. That sucks. Tick, how it hurts. Give me a minute, y'all, because I gotta process that. Oh, that hurt. That hurt. Excusez-moi. Oh, that was a vomit. Give me a minute. Okay. Arthur was eminently practical when it came to demonstrations of affection, shying away from anything that was not either meaningless horseplay or in some way prelude to sex, as though such experiences of emotion were only tolerable if they served some kind of purpose. Bitch, you know what kind of purpose those actions serve, bitch? Affection, love, touching in general, romance. Arthur knows none of these things, and do you know why? He's a clot pole. Let's be real, y'all. He's stupid. He mad slow. He's that kind of low. He's that low kind of slow that makes you want to punch him in his throat. Ugh, God, Chichi. Ugh. And yet, there was no particular sexual motivation to this. Arthur had twined himself inextricably. You already know I had to look up the word, y'all. Come on. Like, you already know Google got my back up in this bitch. Let's listen to the word together, guys. Inextricably.
Inextricably.
Inextricably. That's the word? Oh, that's what that's how inextricably. Inextricably. Ain't that hard to say? I'm just stupid. Twined himself inextricably around Merlin's slim frame, face buried against the back of Merlin's neck, but he made no move to deepen the embrace, or to shift that moment to a different sort of intimacy. His hands roamed over Merlin's chest in a slow, broad stroke. In slow, broad strokes, and for the first time that evening, Merlin felt warm all over, like a cat whose owner had finally had unexpectedly found just the right spot to scratch. I'm not asking you to leave, Arthur murmured eventually, returning to the previous conversation, but I need you to let me be selfish about this. Please, just this once. Merlin had to smile. As opposed to all the other things you're so selfless about. One of Arthur's hands found Merlin's head, tugging it briefly in reproof. Then he scratched his fingers lightly against Merlin's scalp, tipping Merlin's head back in a manner that was most distracting. Merlin closed his eyes, letting himself relax into the prince's embrace. The feeling of Arthur's lips at his throat, his exhaustion from earlier seemed to be making a reappearance, or perhaps that was simply the effect of the way Arthur's touching him, relentlessly gentle and almost unbearably good. "I think I agreed to anything if you kept doing this," he said finally. It was unfair that Arthur knew what all of his weaknesses were, especially considering Merlin hadn't known this one existed until now. I can't I can't promise that I'll stop protecting you, but I will try to be more careful in the future. Will that do? For now. Arthur began to massage his neck and then his shoulders, sliding along Merlin's upper arms, and Merlin gave up any pretense of resistance. Laying out a soft sigh as he slumped against Arthur's chest. It was a nice chest, solid, sturdy, and very warm, and Merlin leaned in unreservedly grateful all over again that he had been in time to save it all along with the rest of the man it was attached to. "Stay here tonight?" Arthur said softly. Although it was framed as an order, Merlin could hear the entreaty in his voice. "I want you to stay where I can see you." Mm, Merlin said without opening his eyes. "I could be persuaded." He felt Arthur's smile against his neck. Then Arthur was unknotting his neckerchief, chucking it aside before turning his attention to Merlin's laces. Merlin allowed himself to be divested of his tunic, boots, and hose without protest. I mean, we already knew he was a hoe, but you ain't gotta say it like that, bruh. You can't de-hoe this one. I'm not funny, but you're friends with me, so haha. I'm sorry, I was thinking about my my dad joke book is, and I was worried for a minute that I lost it. SpaghettiOs. Enjoying the way Arthur's hands lingered luxuriantly over his bare skin. Was this what it felt like to be a prince? To have someone devoted to serving your every need? If so, he could get used to it. "There," Arthur said. When he was finished, he pulled a soft linen tunic on over Merlin's head. One of his sleep tunics, Merlin recognized. It still smelled like him, and then gave him a gentle shove towards the bed. "Now you'll at least have to stop and get dressed before flinging yourself recklessly into danger on my behalf." "I didn't fling myself," Merlin objected, but it was a token protest. He was already scrambling under the covers and making himself at home. "I jumped. There was no flinging involved. Besides, it's the middle of the night." "Good." Arthur smiled down at him, one of his rare, genuinely happy smiles, which creased the skin at the corner of his eyes. "Then you won't mind staying?" "I never mind staying with you," Merlin said before realizing how unforgivably soppy that sounded, and leaning up to kiss Arthur instead. He got the impression, given the way Arthur's smile only broadened under his mouth, that the prince wasn't the slightest bit distracted from his admission, which was very irritating. "Stop smirking at me," he said, when they broke apart. "It's not like it's some great secret you tricked me into confessing." "No," Arthur acknowledged, still grinning, "but it's nice to hear on an occasion." He kissed Merlin again, lightly, and then moved away to undress himself, and Merlin sank back against the pillows, watching him lazily as Arthur grappled with his laces and then his belt. Arthur's tan skin was tawny in the firelight, and gave Merlin a pleasurable flutter feeling in his belly to realize that they were all alone, with no one to disturb them until daybreak. It was a I'm sorry, y'all. I usually take a nap around this time, but I'm trying to get on a normal sleep schedule, so It wasn't often that Merlin got Arthur all to himself for that long. It was only a pity that he was too tired to take proper advantage of it. At last, Arthur blew out the last candle and slid into bed beside him. Merlin stirred, surprised to realize he had almost dozed off. Arthur's fingers brushed his cheek. It's only me. Hello, me. Oh, that was bad. That was horrible. Merlin aimed a kiss at his fingertips and rolled over again, fitting himself into the space along Arthur's side. The prince stiffened fleetingly before he relaxed. This wasn't customary between them either, Arthur having protested more than once that cuddling was not the sort of things princes did, let alone enjoyed. But Merlin knew far too well that this time to believe everything he said. He fell into his sleep. He's fallen asleep easily after that, his face tucked into Arthur's neck, the lingering ache in his chest gradually subsiding as Arthur's hand resumed its steady, tender sweep along the curves of Merlin's spine. Thank you all very much for listening. I'm very glad you all very much enjoyed. Hope you guys have a nice. Oh, by the way, let me just repeat one more time. This fanfic was called Half Sleeping, None with Frost by Sweetheart. So, go fucking read it if you want. I'll have the link in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay weird. Bye.